Mr. Hamied, let me just come across to you, sir. Now, you as chairman of Cipla really set a precedent for trying to find ways of making healthcare more affordable. You also slashed the prices of 6 key cancer drugs by 75%. If you could just tell us, where is this moving to? I mean, are we going to be in a position where the basic treatment for things like cancer can become something which everyone can afford? It's not just restricted to a handful of people.
The answer to your question is very simple. Only if there's free competition, if there's free competition in the availability of drugs, only then can you have lower prices and affordable drugs could be made available to the people.
Right.
To the people. I'm a great believer that the problem of high prices is only due to the power of monopoly.
Right, Mr. Hamied, there might be some problem coming in your talk back, which we will try and fix. But if you could just tell us, leading off from what you've already done in other areas like...
I can hear myself.
Yeah, so maybe you can just pull that off after once I've asked the question, and that echo will go away. But I just wanted to ask you, your example, your experience...
When will you start?
Right. Yeah. Your experience in generally, you've done this with AIDS also and in other things. Take us through the path. What can companies like yours and others do to make sure that cancer treatment becomes more and more affordable? And how cheap could it get? The basic vaccines, the basic treatment that you need, specific targeted medications for different types of cancer. Could these become really affordable and mass market?
It all depends. See, when we did the whole thing on HIV/AIDS, AIDS was one disease, and that was controllable. And it's controllable. Now, with cancer, you've got nearly 200 different types of cancer. So the medication required is a large number of medications specific for individual cancers. So that being the case, you have to look at affordable prices over a wide range of products. Not just 5 or 10 products that there were for HIV/AIDS. So my contention is the only way this is possible is that there is no monopoly. Everybody should be allowed to make cancer drugs, the latest cancer drugs, and under no monopoly, free competition. That's the only way you will get affordable prices.
All right, Mr. Hamied, I'll just come back to you in a couple of minutes. I still think that talkback is bothering you. We'll get that talkback fixed in your ear just in a couple of minutes and come back to you. We'll just get that sorted out and we'll return to you in just 2 minutes. Ali, you've been closely associated. You supported Access Life, and you've done work with. I think a book reading session you did with children at Christmas. So you must have been.
I know. That was very sweet, and I think the motive behind that was somewhere to spread awareness in whatever way we can. I mean, as actors, we're there in the entertainment business, and people are watching us across the nation, if not the globe. But awareness is, I think, what was the key point, because we're out there, banning things like, we were talking about cigarettes, the other day, and I've been a smoker, and I've quit and I've gone through that, and it's not that hard. It's not that hard, because instead of banning, you should have like the nicotine patches and everything. They should be sold at kiosks and not at medical stores, because it's so sad we don't even know about these things. And with these kids, it's another whole deal because
But you were just talking about the banning thing that you were saying. Now, from people like you and others, this is where we think that actors and other people whom people look up to can make a statement. You see popular actors on screen with a cigarette in their hands, you know, the Marlboro man, as you once used to be called. You know, people imitate that. You say, look, I think this is something which could probably make you die of cancer, and dying of cancer is injurious to your health. That message also goes across. Maybe you want to say that to people.
Well,
cigarette nahi peena chahiye.
Well, nahi peena chahiye. But you know, at the same time, I think beeping that scene out is not the right way to go about, which is another whole argument. You know,
beeping the scene, but किसी तरह कैसे लोगों को कैसे पता होना चाहिए कि cigarette नहीं पीना चाहिए, गुटखा नहीं खाना चाहिए.
वो awareness हमें निकाल के देनी है. As actors, I think we should be holding I don't know, agendas and stage shows, and I think this is a great platform for us to even talk to everyone and say it is not a good thing, boss, because one cigarette is what, 4,000 chemicals induced in one go into you. I mean, there's formaldehyde, there's ammonia, this is wrong stuff.
50 carcinogens.
69 to be precise. Yes, you're right. So
69 to be absolutely precise. More than 50. It's like the number of carcinogens that you're inhaling.
It's wrong. It's like soot on your lungs, and everyone knows this. But the smokers and I think I really wanted to say this to all the smokers, because 22 years of age, and this is me Googling this a couple of days back. Literally, anyone can do this. Till 22 years of age, you're still safe. After that, it's easy to not pick up a habit. But you pick up that first puff with your friends before that age, it's hard. I mean, 15 years it takes for the last, carcinogens to move out of your body.
Yeah.
But yes, working with the kids was beautiful, I think.
Well, the more you do it, the better it is, I'm sure, at 20 peptides.
No, it is, and they've kept it so clean. The hospitals have approved this flat, and the whole society. The sad part was, and I mean, I hate to share this, but the societies did not want them, because it was worse than AIDS. It was like it's a,
and that's really
that is sad. That is the sad part.
Yeah. Let me just try and come back to Mr. K Hamied, whom I'm now I think can hear us a little clearer. Mr. Hamied, I hope that echo has gone away from your ear now. Otherwise, you can just take off the talk back.
I think so. Yeah, Much better.
Okay, great. So I just wanted to ask you, sir, when you are looking at the work that
is now... Ask me whatever you want.
So when you look at the work that is now being done in the field of cancer, the new treatments that are coming up, whether it's immunological, whether it's targeted treatments for specific genetic mutations, those are even more expensive. The drugs and the cocktail of drugs that are required in there. I was at a session, actually at Davos just a few weeks ago, and they said a treatment could be something like $200,000, $300,000 a year. And I heard that, and I was in a state of shock. I said, who can afford $200,000 or $300,000 in a year? How do you do to that what you were able to do in HIV, where you said, okay, $1 a day? Then it becomes a lifesaver.
No. Again, it's a question of monopoly. If you are the only inventor and you can price the drug at any price you want. So my whole thing to the Indian government, to us manufacturers, is that India cannot afford a monopoly, particularly in drugs for cancer, malaria, HIV, TB. And there should be a policy that, being a scientist, it is important that the innovator gets suitably rewarded. But the innovator should get a royalty, but there should be no monopoly. Anybody should be allowed to manufacture, particularly these type of drugs for cancer and AIDS, TB, malaria.
All right, so a fair return, you're saying, to the
free competition is the only way to bring down prices.
Okay.
Innovator, a fair return,
fair
but
return,
no monopoly.
Fair return.
If you look at the world's top
no
50 drugs that are being sold today, if you look at the top 50 drugs in the world today, 70% of them are made and marketed by companies that did not invent them. They all pay royalties, in licensed. Tamiflu is in-licensed. Lipitor was in-licensed. So it is pay the innovator a suitable royalty, but do not allow a monopoly, particularly in a country like India, where the disease pattern, not only for cancer, is horrendous. Are you aware that there are nearly 1 million new cancer cases in India every year?
And half a million deaths, which is worse.
Over 250,000 cancer, and that is right. So we cannot afford. I think it is for all of us to fight hard and resolve this major issue of availability.
All right, Mr.
And
Hamied,
if there is free
before you leave us,
becomes
any
affordable.
any final thoughts for our viewers and cancer-affected children in particular? Any message you'd like to give out?
Yes, I think early detection is absolutely vital. Prevention is important. Treatment is important. And one thing that people haven't mentioned is palliative care. I'm very, very keen that there should be palliative care for terminally ill cancer patients, so that the quality of life improves, their well-being improves, they have a longer spell of life, and that's very important. We have started, Cipla has a palliative care unit in Pune. We look after terminally ill patients and we give them hope. It's not for them to go there and die. So I'm very keen on spreading the message of palliative care,
Right.
teaching nurses how to look after cancer patients. It's all very, very important.
All right, Mr. Hamied, thank you so much, sir,
I
for
hope
joining
the
us. And we
public
will
takes it
turn
like
our
that.
attention to
Now-
palliative care also a little later
there
in this
is
program.
And lastly, Cipla pledges itself for providing not only today affordable anti-cancer drugs, but will continue to do so in the future. And hopefully, within a short period of time, we will also provide you the biotech drugs at very, very affordable prices. And that is a pledge and a promise and a commitment.
All right. Well, thanks a lot, Mr. Hamied, for joining us. We look forward to seeing all of that happening. Thank you so much for having been with us. It was great to have you with us.
Thanks.
Thank you so much, Mr. Hamied.